Hi guys, I am doing a sketchbook tour. I bought this book about a year ago, I think 2017, early last year, and it's a Fabriano book, a watercolour or mixed media paper book, and I can't remember the serial number or anything because I think I got rid of that. I'll just quickly check at the back to see if there's any like barcode or anything. Let me see. No. So it's basically, well, that's the brand Fabriano. And if you looked at my past videos, and so after using this year, I have a pretty good idea of what it's like using this particular book. In general, I didn't like this book. I think the paper inside the book is not good for watercolour at all, and I mainly deal in watercolours, so I mainly work with watercolours, so. But I felt like with other like marker pens, pencils, graphite pencils, poster paint, like gouache, I think it was okay with gouache, but not amazing. But with watercolours, I really just did not like using this paper at all. So I'm looking into using a different sketchbook for my next sketchbook. But yeah. But I thought this would be a good video to show you because my progress actually changed quite a bit from the beginning of the book to the end of the sketchbook. So we'll just quickly flick through it now. So this is the beginning, the opening, and yeah. So let's start. This was the very first painting that I did. Pencil sketch. And how I created this image was I took an image from Pinterest, something of a girl, and I skewed it, like I made the proportions really like totally different. So like her eyes were, so I enlarged her eyes, I enlarged her head, and I made her body smaller and like all that stuff on Photoshop. And then I drew a stylized version using that as a reference. So it actually looks nothing like the original reference photo that I did use, and yeah, so that's what I came up with. And I was doing this because I was trying to figure out my style. I think what I should have done is I should have like drawn more from real life first in the beginning few pages, and then gone into more stylized like graphite drawing and stuff like that, but I didn't. But that's what I'm going to do next time. You live and you learn. Sometimes I write the American way, sometimes I do it the English way, but anyway. This was using a reference again, and then I just painted like flowers around her head. It looked weird. This is when I was like started using the paper. This is when I started hating using the paper, because every time I would paint, the paper wouldn't really absorb the paint very well, and any texture any colour that I put on when it dried, it was much lighter than it was when I originally put it down. So that was one issue I had. And these are the reference images I used for the painting in front. She's one of my favourite models, but I forgot her name. So you can see this one is like bad, and then it gets like it gets worse and worse, but then it gets better. Here I just tried to like practice more by drawing from real life, but drawing like gesture images, but it just didn't really work out because I think I didn't have my own style yet, so I think that's why it didn't work out. This is one of my favourite watercolour artists, I think, or painters or illustrators. She's based in Hong Kong. I'll link her thing here somewhere. Then originally I wanted to be a botanical artist, so I wanted to try, because I drew those faces in before, I thought maybe if I just tried doing more, I thought maybe it's me, like I'm just not good at drawing portraits yet. So then I tried to go into like with more botanical stuff, like trying to figure out how this paper worked, and it still didn't really come out the way I wanted it, so that's why. Oh, so this was just like, I just felt like painting eyes and practicing with eyes. So using references from Pinterest again, I tried to do like the Sailor Moon characters, but I didn't do Sailor Moon myself, I did the Sailor Soldiers. So that's that. These were some stick-ins that I did. This is what is this one? So this is, I think I did a video on this, I don't remember. I'm always going to be like, I think I did this, but I'm not sure. But this is a plant from the movie Mary and the Witch's Flower. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, and I did that last year in September, so it's funny because it's September now, so it's around exactly a year almost where I did this. And I tried to do like a more realistic painting of the flower, but it didn't work because of this paper. So then I tried to like figure out more like gradients in a creative way, like just sort of testing out the paper a bit more with the paints, like see how it worked. But again, the colour kept like lifting off the page, not really like absorbing into the paper very well. And then this isn't anything really. I was just trying to like practice with mixing watercolours, adding more water and creating this gradient line, and using different, and then overlapping and just sort of like testing out the paints, just playing around. Here was like a mixed media study. I was trying to draw stylized leaves with marker pen, graphite, pencil and watercolour, and that's what came out. Oh, and the traditional Japanese black calligraphy pens called the Fude pen, I think. Here is just like I was inspired to do like a daily diary and like draw one thing a day of what I did that day or what I ate that day, and then like do a little description on the side. And I did try this, and I did make a YouTube video about it. You can check out my Mount to Cow video. And so, but again, it just didn't really come out the way I liked because I just didn't like the paper. And then carried on, did more botanical studies. That was one painting I did. Then I went back into portraits again and trying to draw noses, because I really struggle with drawing noses and hands, which I'm sure like a lot of artists out there have problems with. Drawing from reference images. I put like flowers in the backgrounds because I didn't want to leave it plain white. I wanted to like add a bit more to it. But I just know like the eyes and the nose and things are like getting out of proportion a bit, but this is just for practice. Here I tried, I was really inspired by the illustrator, or like, I don't know if she is the artist, Kate Rabbit, if you type her in Google. What she does is she does like cut out magazine pieces. She cuts out like models out of magazine and like overlaps it with her own illustrations and drawings, and I think it's really like beautiful and really effective how she does it. So I tried doing that. I made my own sumi. I forgot the technique, but where you dip some ink into water and then put a piece of paper over it, and it creates this like cool swirling effect. I tried it myself and it was really fun. You can check online how to do it. Like there's loads of tutorials online on how to do it. But where I first learned how to do it was like back in uni, but then I forgot. So I watched the movie Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron in it, and it was one of my favourite movies. The story, but also for the use of lighting. It was just like a very visually appealing movie, and so I was like taking hints of, like just making notes, like taking screenshots of the movie. I really enjoyed the use of lighting. And then I tried to like play around with it. I have a lot of neon paints, because when you get like watercolour packs of like 6 or 12, you do have that odd colour like neon pink in it, and I was trying to like figure out how to use it. Still haven't figured it out, but like, and really ultra blue or electric blue. These are just more stick-ins from like artists I really admire. Doing colour swatches of the bottle. I did a bottle on like how, I did a video on how to paint like clear see-through objects. Trying to do a tutorial, but I feel like I'm not at the level to do tutorials yet, but anyway, I tried at least. You have to start somewhere. So I just sketched out this bottle, which was basically, there's like a company that brought out clear coffee, so see-through coffee. Then I tried painting a portrait in neon paints, and that's what that is. And I did more like portrait sketches here. This one I was having an off day, it just wasn't working, so I just like scrapped that, pretend it's not there. And then I tried again with the neon colours. I think it's effective using references from Atomic Blonde, the movie. It sort of helps get an idea of lighting, but I feel like I haven't got a strong like sense of lighting yet, so I need to practice that more. But it's good to like just try new things out so that you know what to do for next time. The next few pages I'm just going to skim through because they're like nothing pages. Here I was trying to draw practiced drawing portraits, and then I tried to do it in the anime style, Ghibli style. This is just a sketch that I did for a blog post that I wrote about how much it costs to live in Japan, or more likely how much it costs to live in Tokyo. I feel like this sketch isn't that great, but I think it's just the paper. I just did not get on with the paper very well. I did more hand drawings and like tried to colour in for more faces, but like this sort of, I really like this face, and then like because I had too much water on my paintbrush, it just like made it go crap. So more like practice study sketches, like playing around with different stylized colours and shapes and textures and all that stuff. Here I was like playing around more with the hair, and then it sort of set me off on like, oh, I actually don't know how to paint hair, so I like tried to do different brush strokes, trying to paint actual hair strands with the brush strokes of the brush. Here's more eyes. I really like drawing eyes, I don't know why. This is just another like portrait I did for like taking images off Pinterest or Instagram. And here was a ukiyo-e printing Japanese woodblock print of a painting of Kurobe River, and I just wanted to see what it looked like trying to imitate the style but using watercolour, and this is what I came out with. I think it would look better with different paper. Again, I'm just going to complete like every page I turn, I'm like, this was okay, but I didn't like the paper, but that's just how it was. And for stationery, here I sketched out a rough sketch of how I wanted this portrait to be, because I was trying to like do a big massive A3 size portrait and still planning out, so I just did a quick sketch. I like this, it's turned out okay, it's just the hair was like, I didn't really know what to do with it. This one just don't look at. The water was just, didn't really have good paint brush control. So then I went back to pencils and colour pencils, and I did this in colour pencil. What I learned from this painting was that if you hold it like flat down on the page, it's kind of a bit skewed. So I was drawing, so the way I see it, like from a bird's eye view, like top to bottom, the face doesn't look as elongated as I originally saw it. So I realised I had to take my glasses off, and yeah, I think I need to get one of those like those things that you put on to like hold the sketchbook up so it's not like weird. Anyway, more noses. I was getting the hang of a bit into the hang of noses today. Like, this is a good nose day. And then here I just did like a sketch of what I got on with in Mitaka. I went to Mitaka for the day, just by myself, like going around the city, and I found, and then I just drew like what I ate that day and where I went, and I love Mitaka. It's absolutely beautiful. It's also where the Studio Ghibli Museum is held. If you have the chance to go, definitely go, because I would highly recommend. My favourite part of the Ghibli Museum when I did go was seeing all the background painting and sketches and the storyboards. That was really special. And this is just like a random quick sketch that I did. I was trying to like see how to use these marker pens, because I've had these since like the dawn of time. I've had these since uni, so that's been like just under a decade. Trying to hide my age, and they still work, which is quite interesting. Actually, I'll tell you a quick thing. These ones, the Tria markers that I had for like so long, years and years and years, these don't last very long, but they're more expensive than these ones. These ones are much cheaper and they last long and they're better. So I think they don't make these anymore, I'm not sure, but like, just don't buy them, not worth it. Another reference image. I tried to like, this was, I didn't pick this off a tree, it was already fallen on the ground, but I wanted to have a memorabilia of the day, so I tried to like do a quick sketch of my camera, because I had a drawing date with a friend, And then I was drawing like the couple across from us, and they were like kept moving, so it's hard to draw them. And then here I was just trying to like doing contrasting colours and drawing over it to sort of see what effect it gave me. And then I came up with the idea of just drawing a random splodge of watercolour paint and using various different types of shades, and then just drawing over it and see what it would come up with. So this one I used the shading, this like darker splodge, darker splodge. I used this to help form the nose and give shading to the nose and like a nose bridge. And then here it was just like basically like one shade tried to give her a bob. This is very much like giving me Pulp Fiction vibes, but after this drawing I felt very happy with it. Here this one's a bit but I was sort of practicing how to draw hair, so I was like googling different hairstyles and trying to draw it in a certain way, trying to figure out how people do it. How do people draw hair? I don't know. A bit more sketches. You can tell I like drawing portraits. This is an artist that I really liked that I found on Instagram, and I just borrowed their, so I tried to like take their technique of how they shaded, did all the shading and like the lighting, and you can't see it here, but I was just inspired by how they use different colour pencils to do that. So I tried to draw like more portraits and get a feel for that. Here I was just this was like a quick idea, like rough sketch of what the next portrait painting that I wanted to do. This I'm just covering that so you don't read it, but these are more like pencil sketches. I was really inspired by the artist Chris Hong. She has an art YouTube channel, an art channel. I'll post her links here somewhere. She's amazing. She's amazing. I'm really inspired by her and how she uses like really tight thin lines to show shading and emphasis. So I sort of like copied that technique and tried to like create something, and I feel like it really works with my it sort of works. I need way more practice, but it works. This was I'm really happy about. I feel like if I just go down, I painted this first and then I painted this. I drew this one. I just copied it again, like got an image of a model on Pinterest. I love Pinterest, and just sort of like tried to, following that technique, sketch this out, and it came out like beautifully. Every time I draw from reference, the model, what I draw never looks exactly like. Everything I draw always looks a bit more stylized, which is, I don't know if it's good or bad. This one is one of my favourite models, Jessica Stam, in a certain way, but I think if I carry on to this road, I'll eventually get to my style. And so this is the latest painting I've done, which I sort of abandoned a bit, because I need to buy some roses and put them in water. Basically this is a girl in water with bubbles around her, and I was like, how the hell am I supposed to draw bubbles? So I tried a different techniques. It looks like foam but not quite bubbles anyway, and she's supposed to be surrounded by flowers, and I like this idea. I think it needs more work. Like I need to practice drawing more roses and flowers underwater. I need to draw more things underwater, so yeah. But I used the new for my birthday I bought some Schmincke paints, which I'm just gonna grab over here. Just really small. This cost me so much money just for like this small thing, this little tiny thing, but they are incredible. Like I am a convert. Like I've been converted to they are so expensive, but they're such good quality, and it came out like this, and there's so much. It's so easy to get a skin color just by using like one or two. I think I used this color and this shade, these two shades, to get all these different variations of skin color, and playing around with like water, like how much water I add to the image painting thing. Yeah, so I think this is what saved the day. This paper really works with expensive paints, but I think the cheap paper doesn't work with cheap paints, which is what I was using before. So that's that. So if you do have loads of money to burn, I do recommend, or invest, I do recommend investing in these, just so you know. I think start off with cheap paints before you get onto the expensive stuff, because then you won't really know how to appreciate the expensive paints. Next, I was just like more practicing. I was painting lemons and limes underwater to get more used to doing that. And then I did more watercolour paints of portraits. I really love, this one didn't turn out right, but this one turned out amazing. Again, I used the Schmincke watercolour paints. Here I was trying to like stick to only maximum of 4 or 3 shades within the image, so it wouldn't be like, I wanted to simplify the painting and see what I could create by doing that, and I feel like it's way more effective than like overpowering your painting with too many colours, especially if you're not so confident about how to use complementary colours and lighting and light and dark and all that stuff. Just start simple and then gradually like add more things to it. And then yeah, this is just like a page of Chris Hong's artwork that I like just like borrowed, just sort of like analysing how she did it and just sort of learning from other artists that way. And this is a swatch that I did of the Schmincke watercolours, and that's it. That is the end of the sketchbook, and it took me a full year because I don't paint every day. I just sort of like paint sporadically whenever I have time, trying to be more consistent in 2018, the rest of this year and next year. And yeah, so thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please press the like button and check out my Instagram down below, all the links, everything, and leave a comment. Do you have a sketchbook? What sort of sketchbook? What's your favourite sketchbook to work with, actually? I'd love to know. And anyway, see you in the next video. Bye!